Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Cashflow Digital, where we are sponsored by ODYS. I can still never get that right. Check out ODYS for age domains and done for you affiliate websites. And also Brad and Mike from NFG. And just before we go any further, what is the NFG? So people keep asking me now, what is this NFG thing? And I've seen a few other people talking about it in terms of mentoring and everything else. But for anyone who doesn't know what you guys actually do, just to give them a quick reminder, I know most people will, but while people are jumping in, what is NFG? What's on there and what's involved?
Yeah, NFG kind of sprouted from Mike and I seeing a lot of people having trouble actually pulling the trigger. So NFG actually stands for no fucks given. And it's a way of like just NFG SEO, get around the paralysis by analysis. So we kind of launched NFG back in, was that 2016, Mike?
Yeah, I think so, dude.
Yeah, so we hosted an event. It actually was perfect timing because I was a member of OMG back in the day, and then Mike was speaking there in 2015. And then the following year, they didn't do this follow-up event that they did the previous year. So I was like, Mike, you want to do a post event? We won't include OMG actually, but we'll just kind of piggyback off their event.
The event, bro. And
yeah. So we piggybacked their event in Orlando and did it, and it is just it was awesome because we were just take action, get rankings, and move on and wash and repeat. So that's kind of the basis of our concepts. We always use mini nets and stuff like for linking, shit like that. Just content plus linking, plug and chug.
It's
stuff like that.
A lot of it's geared towards making sure that you're spending for people that have been in there for years. The reason they're still there is making sure everyone's like spending as little as possible to make as much as possible,
and making sure that your assets are actually assets that are cash generating was the big thing, and that's why we started really pushing the mini net stuff, because Mike and I were doing a shit ton of substance abuse campaigns. Or actually, was I working with you at the time then?
Yeah, I think
maybe at the very beginning.
2016, everyone was in rehab, and we've all been there since then. But yeah, so we were working tons of rehab stuff, tons of addiction stuff, and there was just people that needed help on campaigns. So it kind of just evolved in a way like a community to just maximize revenue. Honestly, instead of like just focusing on ranking, we've always focused on money getting. And because ranking and SEO is just a tool to make money. What's up, Vicky? What's up, Steven? So it's still about that. And man, there's still people in there that, I've seen these guys come up from like working a day job, then starting to make a couple grand a month. And now they're making like freaking 120, 200,000 a month. Fucking, it's just cool to see. And it's a community of people that have just been doing that together for so freaking long.
Yeah.
So
it didn't make sense for me. Like I was building out all these supporting sites, and at the very least, throw your phone number on there, because if you're getting traffic, people are going to call. It's just monetizing everything. But then, I mean, after the event, what did we come out with after that? We teamed up with Jimmy.
We started the Cloaker and did that.
Mike and I ran Jimmy Kelly's kind of his premium subscription offer, where we taught everyone in there. So it's kind of like NFG within JKD for about a year. And then we decided not to pursue that any further.
For us, it came down to that's expensive. Yeah, everyone made the money, like it's there, but people paying $2,000 a month that's a lot of money, dude, to learn. So we kind of smashed the whole idea of charging people $2,000 a month, and went down to this is about making money together.
Yeah. So then we just dropped it to 97. It keeps us sharp. We keep it rolling. Mike and I are still doing PPL and affiliate, as our primary revenue sources. So, but anyone interested in a free trial can go to nfgseo.com/7.
Some of our best affiliates that came from the people that came in as students, and now for years we've been working campaigns in some of the hardest niches with
Yeah,
them.
it's where we met Nick, wasn't it? Was through Jimmy's stuff, I think.
Jimmy's stuff,
yeah.
I think, dude.
So, and in between there, we did a shit ton of mass traffic until that kind of faded away to the level that we were doing. So,
dude, I'm shining, bro.
I wouldn't say God, I would say angel. You know, my luck, he'd show up as my guardian angel. I'm like, I'm so fucked.
But nah, I seen it in a group. Someone was asking who's got the best training. Is it a traffic think tank or whatever it's called? And NFG came up and I thought I'd just give it a push, guys out there, because what is weird here is I get a lot of messages after these shows and guys are like, really enjoy the content. I'm just a lurker. I'd never ever comment. I never get involved.
I wish I were a natural looker.
But if there is anyone looking, do check out NFG monthly and check out what the guys are doing there, because there's obviously a lot of different things out there, and a lot of these guys are giving away a lot of knowledge. But certainly for these guys, very experienced, they're giving away a lot. So do check that stuff out. But Stephen Shaprio, let's cover this one off. Is it possible for someone to hit 50K alone with affiliate websites and stuff? Do people?
This is a great question.
Yeah,
great question, and this is why NFG kind of started. It's this last part. What do they do to avoid losing major chunks of their income? It's all about diversification and like turning this into a business rather than a stream. When you're working and you're doing one thing, like I look at affiliate marketing, it can be multiple streams. If you're just an affiliate marketer, you can absolutely hit the 50K a month alone doing that. Teams are easier now. I would say that going into affiliate marketing as a team these days is a lot easier than back when I started, when you could just go in and do it by yourself and kill it really quickly if you put the time in and the research in. What do you guys think about the... I'm not going to say that's everybody, because I will say before I go on to you guys is that I see a block of like 20K a month for a lot of people.
I see it 20 or 30K. Typically, if you're running an agency, that magic wall number is 30K. I've seen it multiple times. I would say 50K is more than possible because I've seen multiple people do it. But don't just look at the mountain that is 50K a month. Chunk it up. You're like, okay, my goal is to set up one additional revenue stream that's 500 a month. And then take that and reinvest it, and then now I'm gonna do one that's 1,000 a month, or I'm gonna set up two that are 500 a month, because and get it going. And then once you get your bankroll up, I would go the Craig route, and you start looking for pre-established sites that you don't have to go out and build all the content and stuff like that, and you kind of get a pretty good head start if you're looking at affiliate. And then it's just, we don't worry about updates as much. I mean, sure, everyone gets hit. Like Medic, when it came out, it hit a lot of the content plus linking for national stuff, but you just change up how you put out your content, because it was like an entity established, update. But just chunk it out, and then as you get your bankroll going, you can start taking shortcuts, but just paying more.
People need to look at it like this is a tool. I'm thinking about certain students right now that are just, I can't call them students anymore because we learn together and everything.
I learned a shit ton from
going
people
from a day job now. This is like 4 years ago. Going from a day job to buying properties now as a thing on a daily basis to invest funds. So one of the conversations I had with one of these dudes when they were almost in tears, after an update, was look, dude. Here's your percentages. Let's go through this. Here's your percentages. Good thing you listened to me and you didn't quit your day job until you had this, you're still freaking good here. Weathering that, getting through it the right way, and building your wealth that way, because it's a way to make capital to go and invest again in other projects and other things that you're doing. So, and I've seen this multiple times with people. So,
I do it, and I've put as much as I could into the market at this point. Houses still scare me and everything, but I know who Mike's talking about, and he's still making well over, I know 60K was the last mark that I heard that he was over.
From a campaign,
per month. Yeah, from a campaign that he did years ago at this point. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the kind of thing that you're looking to establish. I mean, is
revenue streams that just stack every month.
And that's why the process we put in place, it's not about like chasing ninja tactics, dodging updates and all this stuff. It's about long-term growth and steady revenue. So you can go really fast and do super freaking fun things, but you don't have to change the core of it. So like listen to all the knowledge that people spit around you and just build that system for yourself. Craig, how did you what was your growth process, bro? Like going from like starting to here, like, because you started the channel, was it like a year and a half ago when you really started focusing, like after Anaheim or before that or what?
I mean, I've had the channel for like 4 years, 5 years, but I never really done anything at all with it. You know, it was just shit. So it was really only when lockdown kicked in after Anaheim and stuff like that I started to really double down on it. But, you know, I want to just show one thing and I also want to explain another thing. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
So just for Stephen Shaprio, can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. No.
Right, wait a second. Share screen. Share screen. Let me do this. Boom.
Yeah, there it is. What's Pornhub?
It's not working.
You want me to pull something up, dude, and try?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Privacy, click screen recording. Wait 2 seconds. Privacy system. I'm just on a new computer, so it's a bit fucked. I need to go to privacy and then screen recording. Zoom. No. I can't even see privacy.
Did you add it to the stream like Holly said? Because you got to share it, then add it after you share it, like you added me.
Yeah, no, I've done that. I know how to do that one. No, it's saying something about privacy on my settings. Anyway, fuck, screen recordings there. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But anyway, I can't even share my screen right now. I need to figure that out. I was going to show someone analytics there of one particular project that I've got that makes in excess of $250,000 a month, just to show that it is possible live, you know, not a
I've seen the stats.
So that is possible, but also what you said, Mike, you know, we've got a mutual friend, Gary Wilson. Gary last week just invested something like $275,000 in this vet surgery. Now, people say, what the fuck's happening here? He's diversifying. He's not just throwing money into more stuff. Now, that might sound mad, but he's getting something like $3,000 a month rental, and he's got them tied up in a lease until 2030 on that property. So see, in the next 10 years, that property's going to fucking pay for itself.
Absolutely.
Now, that's the thing. But what Gary's plan is to shovel all of this money that he's making through affiliate or lead gen or whatever the hell he does. Well, he doesn't do any of that. He's doing links, but shovel that money into trying to get a stable 10K a month through residential or commercial property. That is then his base. And he
live on that.
Yeah, and then you go into annuities. Like there's ways to set up different ages, different seasons of your life so that you're sitting pretty. And then you start looking at generation skipping and stuff, man. You can do this for your kids' too. So
my ultimate goal is generational wealth.
Yep, that's exactly right. I had a conversation with there you go, dude. What's up, Darren? And Darren knows, like, listening to Cam and everything, like setting up well for like long term for the family. Like this is like I'm 40 something years. I don't got that many more years in my life, but my kids do. So like if I'm just thinking about the end for me, then it's not big enough at this point. You know, I need to be thinking about after I'm gone and what's going on for everyone after that, you know? And that's,
you know, one of my favorite scenes from, did you guys watch Breaking Bad, like all the way through?
No, I didn't.
There's a scene where you know the premise where he has cancer, spoiler alert. And then he starts making math, another spoiler alert. But he's like doing all this math in his head and he's trying to figure out, like, he's got like 6 months to live and he's doing this. He's like, I need this much and this much, just this much for this much. And he comes up with like a figure. He's like, all right, my goal is 750,000. Let's do it. And then he just starts cooking a bunch of math. And of course, a bunch of shit happens in the interim. But that's one of my favorite scenes when he's sitting there like, okay, I need to set my family up for this. I need to do this. I need to do this, and then goes on.
Yep.
But
there's some more questions I think from Steven that we can address, and then I do have a ton of questions from people who want to go.
Yeah, Gary, nfgseo.com/7, not spelled out.
I'll put that up. nfg.com. Is it nfgseo.com?
Correct. Yeah. I wish I had nfg.com, but no one try and sell it to me, please. If you have it, I don't want it.
I'm just waiting for that to pop up in the screen for you, Gary. I'll put that up in a second. But Stephen's questions, other one, Stephen Shapiro.
Are these affiliate projects?
He's asking about like organic views from like 250K a month from like just SEO. And what happens, dude, is as you're doing your campaigns, like SEO leads, like you're always going to be making traffic from other places as you're doing SEO correctly. Like it's never going to be just an individual source. I mean, it can be, it has been, but it's not. It typically doesn't go that way in my experience. I mean, what about you, Craig?
I didn't even hear the question there. I was looking at the other questions. What did you ask?
It's just asking, is that revenue?
Do you supplement with paid, essentially, is what he's asking.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, why not? You know, I think a lot of people choose to ignore paid. Now, if I can invest, say, 20 grand a month in paid, and I can get 50 grand or 100 grand a month from that paid, then why the hell wouldn't I? Yeah. You know, so I think you've got to have that balance right as well. And Holly's away. Thank you very much, Holly. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I think, you know, mixing stuff up with paid. I've got other projects that are solely relying on organic, but I think for me, some of the real projects that I've got do have that mix of social media traffic, email marketing, organic, and some paid thrown into the mix.
Do you have a team member that runs your PPC, or do you do it yourself?
No, I've got people there that pretty much run everything for me. So a lot of people say to me, Craig, how the fuck can you do all these shows and these podcasts and everything else? Over the years, and you guys will know this anyway, it's all about delegation and training people to do that shit. I don't want to be working 7 days a week on all the projects. So I've got, you know, a business partner, I've got a video editor, I've got a guy that just goes in and does audits and fixes things and all that stuff. So it's having the team and delegating that out is massively important. And that's what's allowed me to then do another project and then another project and another project. And obviously for me, my long-term goal has always been to try and hit 1 million a month. I've always fallen some way short of that. Now, I'm not saying that I get 1 million a month and that's all in my back pocket, by the way, just to be clear. But yeah, so turnover's 1 million. I've got a lot of overheads in case anyone wants to come and rob me. But I've always wanted to try and have 1 million a month as my goal.
You rob Craig, you catch the guns.
But the goal for me is obviously to try and get that family security and stuff. You know, own properties, just get involved in other things. And I think that's why I enjoy doing this kind of stuff as well, because I can also help the likes of ODYS or utilize any kind of following to try and get other people to make money as well. It's not all about just cash for me now. It's about actually just, you know, being able to build relationships and go on holiday and go shooting with people and shit as well. So, and also just trying to get as much as I can out of this game. Like you, Mike, I'm 41 now. I turned 41 last week or a couple of weeks back.
Oh, so am I. I'm 41. I forgot.
I want to be out of this shit by the time I'm 50. So I've probably got a good, 9 years of fight left in me and hunger and desire. And then I really want to just be walking around collecting money. And I'll probably will still be involved somewhere along the line, with consultancy.
It's hard to stop when you enjoy what you're doing, dude. Like, I know what you mean. For me, I don't think I'd be doing any of this if it wasn't for having a family, to be honest. I'd be down in freaking Cabo sitting there freaking renting.
I think about that daily. Yeah. Not you in Cabo, me. But
you think about me in Cabo. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if it was just me. There's no way. I don't need this much. I don't need money. I'm not a consumer, really. So it's more about that generational shit for my kids and everything, because I had kids, So, but I think...
It's realistic to make those kinds of money. So I'll just want to emphasize that to Stephen Shapiro there, or Shapiro. You can make obscene amounts of money in this game if you do stuff properly. So don't think it's all a lie, because I always thought it was a lie. There's no way someone could earn this.
A lot of it is a lie, but then you see people like you and like the real gangsters that are actually doing it, and you know it's possible. You know.
Yeah.
It's Chad.
Yeah,
Chad,
thank you very much, Chad.
That's a cool dude. We've been talking a little bit, but no, there was an interesting article that I thought was a good. Actually, it's John Mueller, and there were some questions that were posed, and someone put together some stuff about anchor text from Google's mouth. And what's interesting is one of the questions was, let me see, it was anchor text to an external website. Okay, so with regard to external links, if you are linking out to other people's websites, the same things like context and why people should go click on that link and what kind of information it gives. So he's basically stating right there, when you link to someone, use something descriptive. This means like keyword-based anchor text, straight up. When he's asked the question about what about links coming from other websites, his answer is really funny, because this is what they do. And I think it's good for people that are newer in the industry to be able to read what Google says. After saying what you should do linking to someone else, he comes out and says, with regards to links to your website from other people's websites, usually that's something you wouldn't have control over anyway. So I'd be kind of cautious about what you need to have there. I want to point out very clearly that he answered this question just before he said don't pay attention to it or be very cautious, by telling us what to do when we link to other people. It's just the reverse of that. So a couple things came up around this article, a couple questions, because they tend to confuse people that are newer in SEO. And
they tend to confuse people that have been doing it a while too.
They do. They
talk in circles. Yeah,
is true. And so what it comes down to is that the answers are all throughout the way they spit this stuff out. You just have to kind of look in the right place. So when you see them say, when you link to someone else, use descriptive anchor text, and they say, well, be careful, don't control this. They've already answered that question for you. So right there out of John Mueller's mouth, there's the type of links you should be building if you're going out there and building links, right? So using the methods of like 3 links to a page, then the rest of it comes in naturally. You're never going to hit any manual issues usually for those reasons. So I thought that was pretty interesting, actually, that was answered in that way. So I know that not a lot of people pay attention to them, but I think it's important to know.
Also, if you are scared or new or want to be completely safe, I have seen it. You can add a ton of relevance elsewhere on the page that you're linking from. So say you have a mini net or a link that you control. If you can get the main keyword in the URL somewhere, in the title, in a few heading tags, or at least variations of it, and then you link with a more general or like a title-based anchor text like the target site, then it still pushes really well. And I would say if you're just like scared shitless, just build links like that.
And one thing to keep in mind too, by building links from a source that you can turn off if you need to, especially in like the case of a manual or anything like that, is another way to stay safe. Realistically, the safest links are the links that you control, because you have the ability to turn them on and off. And I think that's important to understand.
How long would you give it after, like, say you build a link and you see a drop, Mike? I know there's flux and stuff like that. I don't really pay attention to this nearly as much, since it's just, plug and chug, content plus links, and then we look at like an overall. But say you're really watching it, you're really trying to, go on a microscopic level because you don't have that much budget. So you're going to build this one link from your mini net or whatever, and you link over with an exact match anchor, and it fucking drops you like a page or two. How you don't immediately go, oh shit, and then like remove the link. How long do you sit and let it watch it fluctuate?
Pretty much indefinitely for me, because it's going to even out at the end. But I would give it 2 weeks at least, to be honest.
Yeah.
72 days sometimes, depending on what you're doing to the whole thing. One thing on that note is that don't make huge changes on page and build links at the same time. Like seriously segment.
I always like to do my on page first, just strictly because cheap as shit.
Yeah, no, it's the best. It's the most cost efficient way to make money is by tweaking on page and putting up content.
Especially if you have a site that already has some power behind it and links elsewhere on the site, then just content with no links at that point could work, and you can do some internal sculpting. So
I've got a funny story on that subject, by the way. There's a guy, I'm not going to mention him, who watches this show. He's sometimes in the chat, probably watching this.
Pants on or off right now, if you had to guess, Craig?
If I had to guess.
Yes. His pants are on or off. He or she?
It's a he, and his pants are probably off.
That's what I would guess as well.
So this guy basically bought 4 or 5 links from Gary, and he, a week later, came to me and said, Gary's links are fucking shit. They've just tanked my website. My page went down like a page. And I'm like, dude. So anyway, I'm like, you need to relax. You need to let things happen. That page was probably going to go down anyway. But the guy also said to me, so I launched a new project, I think November time. And he asked me how it was going and what the domain was and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I said, I've ordered content, but the content's been added, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not obsessed with looking at stuff week on week on week. Because I've got a system in place where I'll go and add content. I'll get my team to go and add it. We'll launch all of that on. They'll then go through and tweak it, do the on-page, fix it all up, start building some foundational links, and then I might look at it in 4 or 5 months' time. But this guy was flabbergasted that I had paid $3,000 for a domain, $5,000 in content, and I didn't even know the domain name off the top of my head. And I'm like,
I always have to look shit like that up anyway.
Dude, the first time I broke 5K a day, like I found myself like,
I can't wait till I break 5K a day, Mike.
What's that?
I can't wait till I break 5K a day.
No, seriously, like it was like 6 different campaigns in 2006 or 7, something like that. But the first time that I did that, like I found myself refreshing my stats constantly and not getting shit done, dude.
I did that when I started selling on eBay. I would refresh and see if there's any messages or anything. I'm like,
yeah, so quickly had to put systems in place to like, dude, you can't check your stats all day freaking long. Go do something else, get something done. You know?
What do they say? Don't count your money till you're not at the table anymore or whatever. What's the poker thing?
No, exactly. No, it's very true in business though. Like you really shouldn't be checking your emails except one time a day. Like you need to be like really taking care of time.
I was actually reading an investment book and he was talking about, he's like, buy whatever stock you want. Make sure, you do your due diligence ahead of time and then don't fucking touch it for at least 2 to 3 years. I'm like, 2 to 3 years. He's like, just don't look at it. And it's true. I mean, I've got shit that I bought because I thought it was going to be a breakout momentum. And of course there's going to be some opportunity costs there, but I mean, they come back. No,
they do. And that's the thing is if you're constantly over analyzing, you end up making more mistakes. So like anyone's
working way too hard.
Exactly. Like I many times I've had people come to me like, man, we just took this update. We just took like a freaking $80,000 a month hit. And the answer always is just chill out, grab a beer, wait, and just chill, dude.
And then that next day we saw him on Facebook taking a boat ride. That was hilarious.
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
You're like, I told him to do that.
That did happen that one time. There's the beer and it's like pina colada time on the boat. Dude. But you do need to be aware of the fact that there will be downs and there will be times that things get hit. It doesn't make it the end of the world. Like we had 2,500 sites in the network manual action, right? And they were out of the index. And, that's freaky when there's a hell of a lot of revenue that a lot of families are relying on. It feeds people, buys the turkey meat. Being patient, thinking about it, and then taking steps to fix it. A week later, we had those 2,500 sites back in the index doing what they needed to do, So that's an extreme case of like, you got caught doing something wrong and you got back in. That's great. But like, most times you're not going to get caught for that. Like this was a circumstance where people were coming after us, So it's just pay attention.
Well, we had too many rankings and they tied them all together.
They tied it all
essentially.
Together.
Yeah. It was another
the name of the company. Actually, we had to form a new corporation.
Yeah, but that's easy when you have the people we were working with had a team of lawyers, so it's like didn't matter.
Yeah, no, and so that's the kind of thing, like watch if you're starting your business. Just don't get stuck on numbers, like to the point where you're obsessing on them. I think everyone's been guilty of it at some time.
I know I have. I still am. Especially when campaigns switch up or like a payout switches and shit like that. Like they go, for example, like if they go to a longer duration, but it's a higher payout, you're like, I fucking overanalyze shit at that point. I'm watching like a 3.5 minute call comes in and I don't get paid. And I'm like, motherfucker, you know.
I hate those kind of situations. They suck, dude.
Yeah. You just got to ride it out for a little bit. Sometimes you do have to look at it, you know, in certain cases and make sure it's good and then go back to your, you know, whatever you're doing.
So a question came through about indexing backlinks fast, and my answer to that is honestly build links.
Links for indexing all the time. We used to have a ton of trouble, and no one would ever fucking listen to me back when we were building Lead Gadget. Lead Gadget was set up to where you could build it on the root domain, or you could also build it on the subdomain. The subdomains would not fucking index. You got like 30,000 pages on this subdomain, won't index. Someone's like, how do I get them to index? I was like, you link to them. No, but what's another way? Can I put it in this indexation? Can I do this? Can I do? No, you fucking go to Fiverr, you find some high trust flow comments, and you just hit the root of it. That'll kickstart indexing. Not everything will index. It's either that or you link to it from the root domain and go out. But ultimately, your best bet is to link to it, and it's going to make the site stronger overall.
Something on that, I actually use a guy on Legit for that very purpose. High authority blog comments or whatever you want to call it. Now, the guy from Legit asked me if I wanted an influencer page, which was fine. So I put on there some of the gigs that I had used, which was Randy Roday's PR gigs, something else in these blog comments. So the guy done paid ads to this particular page of me, and the amount of people that laughed hard saying, "Are you for fucking real?"
Dude, they have no idea what they're talking about then.
Yeah.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane. And the troll insane is this guy from 2004 or something. And I'm like, I think try it and then come back to me. Now, the guy, someone else then comments saying he can only answer back saying try it. You know, what the fuck do you want me to say? But the thing is, that shit really works, and people think that no longer works. And
dude, they don't understand what the bot does if they don't think that works. Like, I'm just saying, that is an uneducated SEO's response to that.
I just wanted to have a rant about that because it fucking pissed me off.
That's funny. Yeah, we get shit like that all the time.
I have no clue.
Well, the part with, like I said earlier, like when you have like a community or whatever that you're teaching in, a lot of people they don't want the easy answer. That's the easy answer. Yeah, they're like, can I go buy a tool to do it? I'm like, no, you don't need it. Just go to Fiverr and like get a shit ton of stuff indexed.
Dude, there's Webfire, like straight up, this old ass, I forget who made it. It's Webfire. I think it's still up. You can still buy it. This thing will make like video for you. It'll find like high traffic blog comments, dude. Like if I had a family member come to me and say like, I need to just like start this working, I'd say, go to this thing that they would see this landing page and be like, what's this junk? You know, it's from like freaking 10 years ago. It looks like shit, but it works so well because they had a grasp of what works and it's still there. And like, if you're getting a link from a page that's getting crawled, that has traffic, that's getting crawled again, I'm going to say.
Is it getting crawled though, Mike? Is that important?
If it's getting crawled, like blog, here's the thing. John Mueller, we just talked about that. He said, if you remove blog comments from your page, you might have ranking trouble. It's content, people. It's literally links in content. So,
I love when people make content on my sites, you know, comment all day.
Even if it's abuse?
Within reason. Dude, one of the best links I got from my local SEO site back in the day, I had like SEO Greensboro or whatever, Greensboro SEO. So it was back in the OMG days. So I was trying to rank this. I had done these DAS stacks and everything, entity stacks, all that stuff. So I was creeping up. I think I was at like number 5. And Mike Long sent out an email. Hey, everyone, he's got a real gruffy voice, but everyone that is in OMG, please go leave us a comment on this right now. I was like, okay. So I go to it and I noticed that they have a place, because it's all like a blog comment, because it's like a blog page. They have a what's your website form. I was like, oh fuck, I'm about to get this shit. So blog comment link from OMG is getting a ton of traffic, getting a ton of links, getting a ton of social shit going to it. That pushed it from 5 to 1 like within a week. So they work if you can find them.
No, so Josh Baczynski and I, years ago, when there was author tags, like at the very beginning of this, I did some tests through what's the comment system that Google bought that was a social data hub member, not Delicious, whatever the hell it is. It's one of those
Digo?
Digo?
D-I-G-O?
No, it's a commenting system instead of Facebook. But I was able to
Gravatar?
like 6 freaking websites by every website commenting on the main ranking page. Okay. So then everyone that tied into this and linked here, everyone pulled up because of that page. So like when people don't pay attention to the way like this crawl works and how the bot actually categorizes stuff, they're missing out on opportunity like that. For this here, Fiverr legit, if you know what you're doing, you can absolutely, Discus. Thank you, Mark. It's Discus. Discus was pretty amazing for a while there, was taking a lot of advantage of it. Good.
Fiverr, it depends. Fiverr, legit, anything like that where you're, is Conquer still a thing? Is Becker still running that?
Sold it, did they not?
Yeah, I think
he sell it? Yeah. Anything like that, they're all the marketplaces. It depends on the gig, and I would test it.
We did a show that we went through Fiverr, if you want to find it, a few weeks, maybe 4 weeks back, 5 weeks back, where
it was about a month ago.
Campaign out of Fiverr, and you can absolutely do it for sure.
For what, under 100 or 200?
It was under $200 building a business site under that. Christina, that's faceted search, so you're going to want to be using your canonicals and definitely be keeping those live. Like I'm talking, instead of going like the cloaking route and doing things that could get you into trouble if you don't do it right, you're just going to want to focus all the link juice. Make sure that people aren't making errors and linking to individual like query strings of that URL, like domain.com/shoes $? Nike. Like don't be linking to that unless it's part of your process and you have a reason to be doing this stuff. Like make sure that you're funneling all of this into an individual location, and use like your modular link navigation to enforce like where the page rank is flowing. You want to make sure you're not linking page rank out. And that's the big reason why you want to handle this, is because yes, the crawl is a big thing. You don't want to get spider traps, but that's like a tech issue. From a link standpoint, you want to make sure all the page rank is pointing to where you truly want it. And then
also the easiest thing for e-commerce for me, at least in clients campaigns, I don't run a ton of e-commerce on my own. I would rather start with a client that already has the PR and stuff. Is just like we say, content plus linking. You're busting out content that's relevant to the site or the product, and then you're essentially becoming your own affiliate, and you're funneling them over to the product page. I typically don't try and rank a ton of product pages and shit like that. I want to get them in, and then if you're looking at it from a PPC perspective, then you can build that pixel and retarget those people as well. So
yeah, it comes down. We'll do this question really quick here. But really quick, it comes down to your conversion process, like where you're converting, like how you want to make your money is where you're focusing your page rank. Like there's a very strong argument with what Brad is saying, like when you're handling conversion in those, you want to kind of go decentralized and build your page rank like through that there.
Yeah. And that being said, we have had clients where we had to actually force them to go in and add banners to their blog pages because they had there was no fucking way to get back to their product. They're like, oh, look, we're getting, this traffic's going up. I'm like, yeah, but you're not making any money off of it. How are we not making money off of it? Because it's a pain in the ass to find the fucking product. I didn't quite say it like that.
People are hybridizing everything if they need to and making sure that conversion is there, or else it's just wasted money at that point for sure.
Yeah. Jan's question from earlier, I think it was just how to secure your WordPress site. That's another Fiverr gig. I mean, there's a Fiverr gig that'll go out and secure it. Switching to HTML is...
I have to do that now.
You're still vulnerable with HTML because they can get into your cPanel as well. So, I mean, just keep a close eye on it. Man.
There are best practices to use. But HTML and caching, there's reasons to do that other than security. WordPress, unfortunately, is WordPress. Like, it's just inherently not the securest thing in the world, But
if they want to get in, they're going to get in my opinion. too, no matter what type of site it is.
Yeah, depending on who's coming after it, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can just melt your server, ultimately. So just take as many precautions as you can if you're worried about it, and
I think I have my notes somewhere. I don't know if I can find them quickly to tell you what's being used or anything, but there's plugins like Mark is saying. There's just practices and plugins to use to keep it secure. And really depending on, like, I would never take a WordPress site again into like pharma or casino. Like I had a war with Russia, dude, for years and years in a certain market where.
Did you win or lose, Mike?
What's that?
Your war with Russia. Did you win or did you beat
I lost,
Putin?
Bro. I lost.
I would have too.
I can't win that war, dude.
No, it's hard. Yeah,
like
fuck that.
Straight up, like constantly, like I'm on the top of these queries with WordPress sites, and they're just every freaking day I'm having.
As soon as you hit page one, right?
What's that?
As soon as you would hit page one, right?
Yeah, when they start seeing it make a difference, dude, and they start putting together that you've got a freaking network all over, and like they'll come attack. That was years and years ago, but I would not throw WordPress out there in highly competitive markets.
What would you suggest then in a highly competitive? Would you just custom CMS? Or?
That's what it usually is, dude, or something like, because if it's public, it's a lot easier, dude. But also, like I've seen like custom junk that's super easy too. So
yeah, but most shit you really don't have to worry about it as much,
Right.
Just avoid Russian markets.
Russian niches,
Russian gangsters markets.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But also there's a thing called flatsite.com where you can use WordPress and this software turns it into an HTML website for you. I had a podcast with a guy done that a few weeks ago, so check that out as well if you're interested in that.
What we used to do is that we just build all of our sites on WordPress, on WordPress MU, and then just cache that out. That's like Flatsite does, and you just take that, you build it out on a development server, turn it into HTML, then move it out to different servers, and you've got a site generation platform basically. So it's a good process. WordFence and theme. WordFence, I think
WordFence doesn't work as well in my opinion. I've still had sites.
We stopped using it.
Yeah, and also just keep your shit updated too. The latest version of WordPress, which is a pain in the ass, update all of the plugins and everything, because that'll get you hammered as well. So
Jan, add the IPs to the block list in WordPress. So there are loads of different wee things you can do. Also change away from WP admin as the login URL.
Change the URLs. Be good with your usernames. Everything that's a best practice that really you should be handing to your web developer, or more likely your web developer should be the one handing that to you, because they should be up to date every day. Like I'm not a developer, so I'm not the best person to ask on what's cutting edge for security there.
Paul Hogden, who's in the chat, actually had, I can't remember if he said it was 50, but a large amount of websites that were all fucking raped alive.
Been there.
Some fucker. So he's been quiet for the last few weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, sitting, sorting that shit out and cleaning it up. So be careful, because it's painful when your clients are phoning you every day, moaning at you.
No, it hurts, dude.
I've been there when I did. I had the brilliant idea to offer people free hosting when I was doing web design back in the day, and then that sucks when you get a server hacked and then everything goes down. So
and you've got to love it when your hosting company also say to you, like, all the backups and everything are knackered as well. It's really your responsibility to do this stuff. And you're like, dude, you're supposed to back this stuff up daily. It's supposed to be mirrored offshore.
Yeah, it's on their sales page. It's insane.
I will say that I still have some sites that that are sitting out there unsecured, and they're a good source of research, because when you get people coming in there that are inserting links on your site and you're tracing back what they're doing, there's some gold in those types of campaigns sometimes. So sometimes there might be a reason to leave it insecure. So
there is Jan's asking, do you use one shared hosting with multiple?
I don't use shared hosting for that. No, if I'm going to have multiple sites on the same server, it's going to be at least a VPN. And then they're all going to have separate cPanels. So hopefully that helps to a certain extent. And then of course they're going to be routed through Cloudflare. But yeah, I wouldn't throw everything onto a shared hosting, because then you're going to have to deal with a company that's shit, like HostGator, HostMonster, any of those. Those are all shit at this point.
Those are what you use if you want to toss out sites through like reverse proxy to like have multiple IPs. Like that's like your junk tier kind of hosting. Like you can use it, but use it in your junk tier. Yeah,
that, and I would probably go microhost, because then at that point at least you're going to get the separate cPanels and stuff. But I don't do that on a traffic that I'm getting a ton of, or the site that I'm getting a ton of traffic on.
You need to be on something fast and speedy if you're pulling traffic.
Yeah, especially for your money site.
Like when you're doing the mini-net stuff and like the mini-net training, like you want to be on something fast, because I had a conversation with an in-house SEO, I think today, actually this morning. And like once you start building sites the right way, like once you start getting like your PBNs, your mini-nets, whatever you want to call them, where you need them, then you're going to start pulling traffic, and you can make money with those sites that they can be more than just a backlink to you. So you need to treat them like you would treat your money pages where the traffic is, because that will slow down your metrics and de-rank you a little bit.
Yeah, for the multiple Cloudflare accounts, I mean, it's simple to set up an info@domain.com. So have a separate one for each domain that you're putting on Cloudflare, in my opinion. Just save the passwords somewhere that you can find.
Use LastPass. That works.
Yeah, there you go.
But this guy is asking, or female it might be, I'm not sure what your name is. Are you saying it's often more targeted? Don't be worried. Like, if no matter what you are, even a website with no traffic or very little traffic can always get brute force attacked. Just switch your notifications off. Even if I was to go and check my website out, I've probably been tried 500 times today. It happens all day, every day, and it's not targeted. It's just their software or way of doing things just keeps trying to do this stuff in a massive scale. Because I also had, back when I done clients, you'd have some like local plumber or something. They're like, why would someone ever want to hack like a one-man plumber? That's not the way the hackers are looking at it. They just want a link in your website. They are going to
the local plumber has a GMB listing. It's trusted by Google. That's a damn.
I would love to have that. Yeah.
Steve L. That was from. Sorry, Steve. I don't know why it's not pulling through today. Don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but normally it pulls your name through. But
I've noticed it do weird things with LinkedIn sometimes.
It's weird ass. But as I say, this streams out to Facebook, LinkedIn, and stuff. But it only seems to pull in the faces from YouTube just now. I know Holly Starks was having issues with that, but yeah, it is what it is. But what's your next question, Mike?
All right. So the next one was, let's see, what do we want to do? There was a couple that came through about the backlinks required to rank keywords. And I just want to say one more time really quickly, do not get stuck on an individual number of backlinks to rank an individual term. Do your market work the keyword you're in, work the market you're in the right way with your on page, and then do your backlink process.
I also don't like to look at it from a page perspective. Like I mentioned earlier, I like to look at it from a site perspective, and you want that site overall to be the traffic numbers to be rising in general, because it's all going to be related content. I don't get stuck on a single page. I know I have multiple times, but
yeah, makes sense.
And so then after that, there was a question about 301s. So the question was about 9-year-old domains with a few good backlinks and having one website that's about that topic. I'm not going to mention the topic. It's in a highly competitive industry that actually one of the guys that we work with is working in quite a bit. And so if they revise those old domains and then 301 redirect them to the domain that they're running right now, will it help my SEO and increase my ranking on Google, is the question. So basically 301 redirect of old domains that are no longer being marketed, pushed into the one domain that is being marketed right now. And that's a really nice situation. I have a couple ideas of what I would do in that situation, but what are you thinking, Craig, Brad?
I would potentially, if the domains are up there just now live in their own right, I would be slamming the shit out of them before I've done any redirects. I would be looking to boost that. Now, you might say, it's already a DR13. And of course, if you 301 redirect that, it will pass an element of power and stuff like that. But why not throw the kitchen sink at it and push it as hard as you can? We're not maybe quite the kitchen sink, but push it, and then do the redirect. That would be my strategy. But
the bathroom sink, not the kitchen.
Yeah, the bathroom.
The outhouse
there's
sink.
Some things to think. There's a couple ways that I look at it. Like I'm assuming that the campaign makes more sense to redirect them than actually try to keep making money off of all the domains. Let's throw that out. Because the first thing I would look at is, should I keep these as live websites? Do I have an opportunity to utilize?
That would have been my first question. Yeah. I think I can turn this into a secondary money site that then feeds into the primary site?
Or as a network site where I can push the traffic around to maybe YouTube views, or push the traffic around to other sites, conversion, and then also maybe link to multiple websites. Now, if that's not the case, we're not doing that, then I would definitely continue to strengthen that site. And then when you're redirecting that, you're going to want to go like page by page rather than just an overall single redirect. I absolutely would do as much page by page as possible. And instead of a registrar redirect, it just works better. It passes more page rank.
That being said, if you really want to be lazy, then go for it. But I mean, age is, I look for stuff that I can't get quickly. Age is one of those. You're going to have to wait 9 years to get a 9-year-old domain.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing domain. Right
so
there.
I would probably set that one up. Now, if it's one that was maybe a little spammy, or like it's not quite as old, maybe a year or two, but it's got nice links going into it, and it's a pretty good amount, then I might use that one as a 301 to a hub or something, then push the juice out from there.
One thing I really recommend with 301s is like look at the whole link profile. If there's some stuff that's just okay in that backlink profile, it might warrant what Craig just said, which is like pushing some more stuff underneath that, on a second tier. That's where that kind of thing can really start to benefit you as you push that redirect in. Jan down here had a test she wanted to run, I think. Test 301 to domain 1.
Is Jan a man or a woman? Because the picture kind of looks like it would be a man, but I don't know. Yesterday was international.
I have no idea, honestly.
Speaking of man or woman, did you hear what Burger King said?
Yeah,
a woman's place is in the kitchen. I was like, oh shit. They're like, no, our kitchen. I'm like, that's not a kitchen.
Someone needs to work on their copy, dude.
Yeah, they were trying to be funny like Wendy's is, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So you're talking about a daisy chain redirect, and I'll tell you they work. I've done it, and I have campaigns that have run in top-level pharmacy markets that have done nothing but change redirects. The same concept when you're using, let's say, link tiers can go into your 301 tiers as well. You can have a tiered 301 structure. They do crawl these. There is drop-off over time, about 5 or so, but it's not a hard, fast rule. Yes, you can do it. I like to use the rule, like I'm using a redirect, or I'm building links to a redirect when I know that I might need to kill that, turn the off switch, flip the off switch at some point and redirect that somewhere else. Like if I have a GMB client, I might send those links if I'm linking to the CID or the share link or anything like that. I might send those through there. We've done it in rehab where we lost the client eventually, after a year or so, you lose them. So then I can take, because I'm in that industry elsewhere, I can take that link juice and I can point it to maybe one of my own GMBs, maybe a lander or something like that. So I think people need to understand that redirects, 301s are just one type of redirect. There are other types of redirects that can be beneficial in different situations. But also like
307 if you're just doing the traffic.
Yeah, 307, 303. All of them can be super beneficial. But if you look at the SERPs, you also have you have a redirect from Google to a website right there. Okay, that's a hook point right there where there is a redirect coming from Google SERPs to a website. Now, if you're really careful and you look at some tweets, you see that the T-code redirects. That's a redirect in between there. There's a process we used to use a lot where you can hit the SERP freaking URL, the redirect there with a link that has been tweeted, and now you've got a 3-tier redirect, a 3-tier link structure going to your site that's filtering through Google, filtering through Twitter, picking up all of this there. The same concept can be used when you're doing these tiers for your campaigns, where you take a domain that has had content that's relevant, you take another domain behind it that potentially is in that domain's link profile that's now available, or you build something there and then you redirect it. One of the services I sold for a long time was buy a .info domain, throw a bunch of backlinks at it, have it. I had it hosted for a little while with content, so that content was indexed. So I could make that page rank relevance transfer, because the way they assign the page rank when there's a 301 redirect, the amount that they actually pass through is based on the relevance. And this is why one-to-one redirects are really important when you're doing them. So
going back to the very beginning though, I want to test this. That could be, if someone comes to me and says, yes or no, what should I do? Should I test this stuff or should I not?
Yes.
With 301 redirect chains, at least in my experience, I would say don't go down the rabbit hole. You're going to be much better spending your time, effort, and resources on content plus linking, or getting GMBs, 100%. Or setting up landing pages, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just, in my opinion, a mental masturbation exercise at that point. You know,
like I know sites that are using literally, like, they'll go get a redirect from this high authority site, then they'll put it here on that redirect, and they've got like their internal link structure like all going that way, and it's just way too much effort for the benefit of that.
It is. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to accumulate the amount of time in my head that I've wasted trying stuff like that, especially, you know, back in 2013, 14, 15, when I was, you know, new, but still somewhat new. Yeah. Then you figure out what works and you just apply that. Now, if someone comes out with something that they have actually tested, and you see that, or you catch wind of that, and you're like, that might work, go ahead and test it.
If it makes sense from your SEO brain, like, you'll see stuff sometimes where you can just see right away, this is nonsense. You notice they're not showing any results. You can avoid shit like that.
I've actually wasted a ton of time by.
Oh shoot, we got to jump. You got to go, don't you, Craig?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Sorry, dude.
Next time.
Fuck. I need to shoot, man. So
good. I got to pee anyway, so we'll be good.
It's all good, but thank you everyone for joining us. Thanks for the questions, and obviously thanks to you guys for coming along. And we will be back at the same time next week doing the same stuff, because Mike's literally done about 2 of his questions. And and we believe there's a lot more.
They were good questions coming in today.
Yeah. So keep the questions coming, guys, and we will catch you same time next week. Also check out nfgseo.com/7 for the NFG stuff. But catch you all later, guys.
Later, people.